the issue I had with the conversation is he asks Angie, had she ever bust somebody's window out? Angie said yes. Okay. Haven't we all?
No. The answer is no.
Hey, my loves. Welcome back to our channel. Thank you so much for joining us again. I'm your girl, Intisar Eleanor. I am joined by my beautiful husband, Joseph Conner.
Hey.
And you are back on the Conner's couch. Welcome on in. How are y'all today? We went to brunch today, so it was a good day.
Yeah.
It was good. We up and we out. The baby was a little bit fussy today. I don't know what's going on, but she is not comfortable today, whatever it is. But we're gonna figure that out right now. That's my mama's problem. How about that? That's my mama's problem right now. So the grandma is the baby. Okay. But yeah, what are y'all up to? How are y'all feeling? How you feeling today, babe?
Good.
We had a good date night last night, y'all.
Yeah, it was cool. We went to go see F1, the F1 movie. It was really good. If you haven't seen it, go see it. It's really good. The boy Dampson from Snowfall, it stars him and Brad Pitt. They crushed it.
They crushed it.
It was a really fun movie, yeah.
I genuinely, guys, I was unfamiliar with Damson's works, okay, or his Je ne sais quoi. And I was really, really blown away. And I told Joe, I'm like, I never got the hype about him. And while we were in the movie theater, I'm like, oh, I get it.
He killed it.
I get it. He killed it. Okay. He was wonderful. And it's a really good story. I told Joe it's like really Talladega Nights, but serious.
It kind of is Talladega Nights. And it was cool.
If you're not first, you're last.
100%. And they took some lines, which I said that to a kid at the go-kart place like literally 2 weeks ago when I was in Michigan. And his dad was there. They just left. And they took some storylines from like the past F1 season or the season before whenever they filmed this or whatever. Yeah. So that was cool too. And then a lot of the real drivers was in the movie.
Which was cool. I think Lewis Hamilton was like one of the producers or something.
Yeah, that was cool. So like one of the only black F1 drivers was, if you're not familiar with F1, Lewis Hamilton is one of the only black F1 drivers, and he was like a part of the production somehow, and it was really cool.
But Damson is everything he think he is, and he really held his own up against Brad Pitt. Not that Brad Pitt is like this sensational actor. He's just a movie star.
Yeah.
But so is Damson. He really did, to me, kind of like solidify that with this movie.
Yeah. So
I want to see him in more stuff. And you guys need to go check out F1 the movie. It was fantastic. The next one we're going to see is the Denzel High or Low.
Oh yeah.
We just
Spike Lee and Denzel new movie.
Yes, we're going to check that out next. So let's dig on in. We are talking Everything Ready to Love today, season 10, episode, I don't know, but they on a retreat, okay?
Finally.
So they put them in a bus and ship them all the way to wherever they at.
They ain't going nowhere. The house is nice, though.
The house was really nice.
The house is fly.
The house was really nice.
But they in the Poconos or something like that. We should have asked somebody, but...
We really should have asked somebody. Why didn't we ask anybody? But the point is they went away, okay? And everybody, you kind of get to see who's linked up with who, what's going on. Cam still have 3 options, which the more we get into the season, the more I'm annoyed by that. I don't know why. I don't know. I feel like...
You and your mom. Her mom was watching the show with us. She like, why everybody like him? I'm like, don't do
not like he's not a good looking man. I mean, he for them, I get it. I think it's more. So last week they were talking about his friend mentioned that sometimes he holds on to women for too long, right? Yeah. And I think we took it as like, oh, he just dating, and sometimes you just dating, and it is what it is. But the more I think about it, he does almost. It feels like collecting women because. He's the kind of connections he has with them aren't like
connection.
Yes. But it's not even feeling like he wants it to be deep. Does that make sense? Like, I don't even get the feeling that it's going deeper. Even with Rose, who is a deep human.
Is Rose a deep human? I think
Rose is intense.
I think she's very intense, but intense and deep are different to me.
That's true.
I think that Cam is genuinely in a confused place as far as which connection he feels like he wants to pursue, because they're all like problematic in their own way. And I think he truly is like,
not
I don't know.
Y'all.
I think so. And I think that it's also, he's still a part of the process. I think a lot of them there's not really a lot of deep connections on this season at this point in the season.
And that's really upsetting, I think, to me as well.
Yeah. So I think a lot of them are just still trying to make stuff happen as being a part of the process and still being on the show. But I don't think if this was the real world, I think Cam might have walked away from all three of them. You know what I mean? But I think that he's still a part of the process. You know what I mean? The same way, like, I was watching, I'm like, Deanna's still here. She's trying to make fetch happen with anybody.
She is trying.
She has no connections with anybody, but she's still here. So she's still trying to like
argue,
make stuff happen.
Is she a person who connects? Do you even connect anything for cables, anything? She doesn't even give me and this is all surface on TV or whatever the case may be. I just don't know. Nothing about her feels connectee. If that makes any sense. Like, I feel like Deanna is just like, so is closed off the word?
I don't even think she's closed off. I think she doesn't know how to connect.
And it could be that she likes what she likes and she only can connect with people she like. I know a ton of people who are like that. Like, they can't be fake it or try to, like, you know. I don't think she's a slow burn. I think she genuinely doesn't have a connection with people.
And I think she would probably categorize herself as a slow burn, but I think her issue is connecting.
Right. And I don't think she would do it unless she would with somebody that she actually liked. Mm-hmm. So we start off with Jay and Kiara having a conversation about where they are. And basically her telling, she was already apprehensive about going on this little getaway with the rest of the team. But she felt like she needed to kind of solidify with Jay. Kiara felt like she had to let Jay know, don't be coming up in this house and acting a fool. And
she literally said, when we get in this store, don't touch nothing.
Don't touch nothing. Don't look at nothing. Don't smell nothing.
We don't have store money.
We don't have store money. Okay.
Which I thought a little too much. Only because you're still in this process where you have to date 1,000 people and you're supposed to be exploring and doing your due diligence and testing your connections. And now you're in a house with people who you're supposed to be exploring. So the whole like super overt, like, I told you don't be looking at nobody. That's a little bit much. Like, you still have to kind of have a lax boundary because you're in a process. Otherwise, leave.
So
you understand what I'm saying? Like, if you're not going to, he's still here because he's still supposed to be dating other women.
But they have made it clear to each other that they are not exploring anyone else.
No, not true.
Well, that's the impression I got.
But it can't be an impression. Are you still here? I think Uncle Tommy would say, are you still here? You're still exploring other people.
No, but that's not how I think they actually had a conversation about not doing it. And that's what her conversation was. Like, don't come into this space and start getting brand new. Like, if we locked in, we locked in.
But they're not. I'm glad you said that. They're not locked in. He's just her top and she's his top, right? If there's a top, there's a bottom, and there's a middle, right? And they're still a part of this process. When you leave this process or you decide this is my person and we ain't dealing with no other persons, that's when you're locked in. So to still be a part of this process and still be employed or implored by production, Uncle Tommy and everybody else to test your connections. And he literally sits down in the vault and tells them, explore, see how, your connections are acting, multiple, you know what I mean? So that's literally like the challenge, you know what I mean? That's the whole part of it's a dating show. You get what I'm saying?
The way you contorting yourself into a pretzel to just not say that he was dead ass wrong is fascinating.
I don't think I'm contorting myself to a pretzel at all. I'm dead ass. I say this about everybody that's on a dating show. You can't come on a dating show with 10,000 other people who you're supposed to be dating and then have an attitude that somebody is smiling up in somebody else's face.
No.
You cannot do that.
But that's being willfully obtuse.
And I think,
he did not.
You don't think she's doing a little bit of that?
First of all, let's set the scene. What happened was he's having a conversation with Sahara, which is fine.
And she immediately bends over and starts twerking.
Okay, so that's the first thing, because her bending over was her decision, right? You acting like you gonna slap her ass is your decision. So that's strike one. Okay, let's be for real. The second thing that happens is they sit there and they have a conversation. She puts her leg over him or vice versa, whatever the case may be. They doing a little bit too much. I'm not saying don't go have conversations with other people. I think that that's, to your point, a part of the process.
Okay, let's park there, because I feel like I was speaking on whatever their conversation was before they got into the store. I wasn't speaking.
What store?
The analogy was, when we get in this store, don't touch nothing. Oh. Right? I was speaking on that. I thought that was too much because, like you just said, he should be allowed to talk to other people. I feel like she would have had an attitude if Sahara never put her leg on him, if she never bent down and started twerking on him, if he never touched her neck. I feel like Kiara would have had an attitude just because if he was just smiling up in somebody's face. I feel like she would have had an attitude. And that's what I mean is too much. Like, they're still in this environment where they're dating and entertaining multiple people.
No, I think they had a conversation, and this is why men are not leaders, because it's up to you to lead the behavior, right? So if I say to you, I come to you as a woman and say, when we get into this space, I don't want boom, boom, and boom, right? I already made myself clear. It's your responsibility, now that you have the knowledge of the things that I expect from you, and to act accordingly. When you don't do that, that does set you up for drama. Now, do I agree that she probably would have had an attitude? Sahara could have been sitting over there, and he could have been sitting here. She still would have had an attitude that they were talking.
That's what I'm saying.
I do agree with that.
And that's what I mean. I don't disagree that if you guys agree to do something, you should do it. I'm not saying that he was absolved of responsibility to uphold whatever pact that they had. I'm just saying that you're not a part of the process where they are still allowed to date and entertain other people.
So that's why I said I agree.
Like
I think Kiara would have been annoyed anyway.
Yeah,
because I think she was already had apprehension and anxiety about going on the trip anyway.
Right. And my thing is, that's cool. Just leave the house. Like, say, we've seen people do it before on this show and other shows. I found my person. I don't need to entertain. I'm not going to be somebody. I can't remember who it was, but actually said, I'm only leaving the process because I'm no longer actively taking part. Like, because I found my person, I'm not going to be like giving this other connection a real chance. Because I'm also looking over my shoulder, making sure my main connection isn't about to cause trouble when I get home, right? So if you want to leave the process because you found your person, I'm all for it. But don't be here and then be pulling people to the side, chewing them out because they, put a strawberry in somebody's mouth like they usher. Like,
but to her point, their whole conversation to me, even if I'm just dating someone, and you're dating other people, if I'm in the house with you and I see you with this other person that way, I would look at it like, damn, like, I'm not saying don't chat with the person. I'm not saying don't, hang out. I'm saying you're going to do all that. And his argument is that it was in front of her, which I think is so, it's a colander. It's literally, the argument has so many holes. It does not hold any water. But I feel like, I love that Khalil kind of stepped in and kind of was like, bro, like, if y'all had a conversation about it, you know what I mean? Then you got to see it from her position, like how she may be feeling in this moment, because Kiara was not letting up off that ass.
No, not
okay,
at all.
She was a dog with a bone.
I think he went into it still thinking that he had carte blanche to flirt and do things like that, because that's kind of in the. And
I kind of got that in that sense as well.
Yeah, and I think in the conversation with Khalil, I think that's what he was trying to say to Khalil, which Khalil was right when he was like, listen, her perspective is no, right? And then he was basically saying like, yeah, but I'm still here. Like, I'm chatting with other women in the house. Like, you know what I mean? I think at that point, you're rocking a hard place. You just don't go to the crib. Just don't go to the trip. You know what I mean? Because you do kind of. Now I don't know if they even know each other enough because you know how your woman is going. You know what I mean? Like you know how your woman is going to act if something get weird. So you should have already had the foresight to know like. I don't want to go into this house because of what somebody else might do. I mean, that's my anxiety. My anxiety is never what I'm doing in the streets. It's what this other stranger is doing in the streets, which makes me nervous. And if I had control and I knew that something was coming, I would just not go to Exhibit A. And I think, honestly, that's what he should have did.
I feel like it's funny because I think about like times where we may have like had moments like that. And I'm like a retired crash out as well. So, but now I think it makes Joe even more nervous that I don't crash out. Like I think it was less nervous when I was like acting a fool. And now that I don't, I think you're more like.
No. I'm not nervous that you don't crash out or that you're going to crash out. I think I'm just traumatized by past crash outs.
Period.
You know what I mean?
Because I'm not the one or the two.
It's not about.
It's like not even on me no more. I don't even have it.
It's more so about things that you cannot control. I can't control. I was at a gig and I had an old woman and come up and sit on my lap while I was playing. I was actually playing. And this woman came and literally sat on my lap, right?
I was there.
And she was there. That's the stuff you can't control.
Yeah, for sure.
It's what makes me nervous. And so that's why I'm saying I wouldn't have went to the house because I don't know I can't control Sahara bending over in front of me and twerking. And all I say was hi.
But
you know what I mean?
You can't control her actions.
And I think that if Kiara saw that would have been an argument too.
And I could go with you there, right? Which that's a deeper conversation with them. But I think Uncle Tommy kind of alluded to that fact too. Like you can control what you do. You can't control what Kiara do. That's clear. I don't think anybody can. But
Sahara, yeah.
Sahara. I'm sorry, Kiara. Yeah. Sahara does. You can't control what Sahara does. But
that's why it puts you in an awkward position when you're in this space of like, well, you my top, but I'm also still a part of the process. Because also they're going to leave and somebody's going to send him on a date with somebody else. Now what?
No.
When Own sends him on a date with Sahara, are y'all fighting again? He going to be in the doghouse?
No, he's not going. But
you understand what I'm saying?
I hear what you're saying, but he hasn't been on a date with anybody since.
But that's what they do. Remember, there's a whole week where they're like, "I'm sending you with your number 3." And
no,
your number
I'm
2.
not. I'm not saying that you're.
So if you're a part of the process, are you wrong then? Because you take a woman out. If that's what I'm saying, like to still be here is to still have to be open to your person, your top. Flirting with other people, doing things for other people.
But I feel like at this point, we need to be closing it down. Like, we're literally at the end of the season.
Then close it down and go home.
No, not go home. The point, it's not Love Island. It's Ready to Love. So
they go home on Ready to Love when they pick their person?
Well, right, because sometimes people get voted off, and it's like, what's the point of this? We supposed to be picking somebody that we want to be with, right? And I think that Jay is doing it right by kind of still pouring into Kiara and really just Kiara only. But I really do think that if I'm being honest and y'all tell us what you think, I honestly think Sahara even was talking to Jay just to make Cam mad. I don't even think she's into Jay.
Honestly, I think there's some truth to that.
I don't think she's into Jay. I think that she's annoyed that Cam has multiple prospects, so now she's like, I need multiple prospects.
And she's very unserious, just in general. So
very unserious.
I don't even know that is so much strategy involved.
How about that? But and that's not a dig on Kiara, but I mean Sahara. But I just feel like my issue with the whole situation is you can't let these people know all your cards up front. Kiara could have been annoyed, and she could have expressed that she was annoyed, but I felt like the way in which she expressed it was a pink flag.
Yeah, agree.
Because I'm like, you gotta, a lot of times, especially at the beginning of dating, you just observing a human. Like, you just really trying to see him and get to know him for their works. So to kind of crash out like that, he's going to do if he did that, he's going to do other things that's more worthy of a crash out.
I would think so. I felt like, did you see them kissing in the mouth? That's kind of where, like, okay, girl, I get you being upset, but the punishment kind of didn't fit the crime. She like, get away from me.
But if that
like 3 days though.
If that was us, I would be. Well, we're different.
Yeah,
I know you hate when I do that.
Yeah,
but I like being in a couple. I could kind of see they're not in a couple.
That's the problem.
And I knew you were going to say that.
The biggest elephant in the room here is that is actually not your man. As much as you say it, he's actually not your man. And that's why we get into these weird spaces, because he's supposed to still be dating other women.
Yeah. Why is Rose buying men clothes?
That was not too much, y'all. That's what I mean by the intensity. Like, she's intense, bro. Not that it wasn't a nice gesture.
It was a very nice gesture.
It's a nice gesture for your man. You're not there yet. You have to slow down.
This is literally my issue with dating some places. Like, sometimes dating is not a culture that's embraced, and everybody is rushing to just be in relationship. When in truth,
embraced at all.
People should date more. You know what I mean?
I don't think it's embraced.
And I mean healthily date.
In this, at least amongst, I don't know, I want to say all age groups, really. I think right now, just in the dating scene right now, culturally, I don't think the actual definition of dating is embraced. I think it's, oh, I found my flower, I found my fish, and then ain't no other fishes out there. And you better not look at another fish.
And part of me gets it, right? Because sometimes you do find like a diamond in the rough. But I think the other part of this is she's at this time dating 2 men. And I don't feel like either one of them are centering her. She's driving the whole relationship for both of them.
100%. Not an opinion effect.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I am not even sure they are as into her.
They aren't.
As she may be them.
They aren't. And I think that's my issue when I watch her date and stuff. Like, I just be cringing a little bit because I could tell that she's like,
pick me, please. Yeah. And that, I don't want to see her go out like that. I just don't. And for many reasons, because you already a thorough joint that you would even do something like that. Buy somebody a couple shirts, do this, do that. Like, to me, that says a lot about who you are. And if these people don't value your essence as that awesome person, it's like, girl, you got to start acting accordingly. And I get the impression that she treat everybody the same. Like,
100%.
On this pedestal kind of thing.
I think so too. Yeah. And then too much too soon. We were talking about that with somebody who we personally know that I feel do the same thing. And it's like a lot too soon, to the point where I just be like, please keep this to yourself. Like, I'm not even saying don't do it. Just don't even tell nobody that you're doing it.
I can't even get into it about that. The stress that I feel about that human is like deep, bro.
But that's what Rose be doing. And it's a lot. And I could tell that a lot of it is from the kindness of her own heart. Like, this is just her being her. But at the same time, in dating, you kind of have to check some of that stuff. You know what I mean? Especially
you gotta
early.
Piecemeal it. Like, you gotta breadcrumb it a little bit.
But
like,
you also gotta cultivate the environment that you want your actual relationship to live in. Right? If you start off like that, we in this gray area, you know what I mean, in this dating area, and you over here bringing them shirts and stuff like that, but say he's Jay, and now Kiara's looking at him sideways and you sideways, like, why you bringing him shirts and all that other stuff? Like, because y'all haven't even got on a solid foundation enough to even be in that place. Like, that can get awkward, and you know what I mean. And then that could also set an environment of a guy feeling like, I don't really need to do anything or show up in any way,
and he won't. And the thing is, the truth of the matter is, a lot of y'all are preparing the table for a man who just sits down.
That's what I'm saying.
And it's really, and then y'all look at me when I say I ain't doing nothing, I won't do that. Y'all look at me like I'm crazy. But the truth is, a lot of y'all are putting like way too much energy into people who you ain't even sure deserve it yet. And that's what make it sad to me. Right. Like, Rose, are we even sure? He got 3 other connections. But you know what that is also? Competition.
Yes.
She bought me a shirt, so she really care about me. Woo. A lot of that is that it's competition. And part of me gets it, but a part of me also believes you are the vibe. And you also got to realize when somebody is unserious. And Cam, although he speaks with a monotone and doesn't have much inflection, something about him is wildly unserious.
I don't think Cam is unserious, though.
I think he's
unserious.
Think
he don't really like any of these connections like that much. I think him.
You know what? I do think that's the case.
Yeah, I think he himself, to me, is a serious, mature person. I just think these connections are very immature connections.
And I also think we have to like really stop bearing the lead. We know when we like people.
Yeah.
I've dated a bunch of people before.
It's all the
I've done it. It's I don't know. We know. You know. But that's what I mean by unserious. Like, you're not going to have this conversation with me. I'm an adult. I've been on this planet some time. I've done dated and did all the things. I've done dated 5, 6, 7, 8 men at the same time and knew exactly who was the one that I would call nonstop. You know, and you might continue to date a bunch of people and you might continue to explore. But the truth of the matter is, we all got a favorite. Your mama do too. It's like, you know what I mean? So why are we acting like whatever decision between Rose, Sahara, and Angie, 3 wildly different women, you don't have a favorite?
Because they say in sports, if you have too many quarterbacks, you don't have none. And I think that's this too.
He's the Browns. Like, it's giving the Browns.
He literally is the Browns. Like, if you got 5 quarterbacks, you don't have a quarterback. And I think that's where he's at. And I think that speaks to a little bit of what you were saying about him, you know, being Thanos and collecting all the Infinity Stones. That to me just means you don't have the one stone that you actually like. And when you are single, that's what we were talking about last week. Sometimes that's okay. Like, all right, what else are you doing?
Literally.
Collect some stones, right?
Collect more.
Yeah, right. And I think when you're on a show, like,
there's an expectation.
There's an expectation for you to collect stones. And then you have to play up I don't know, who's next week, see who he's going to pick. Yeah. I think they feel a little pressure from production. Not to say that I don't have any insight that this actual production is pressuring him, but I have heard in the past something similar to that. Like, I think the productions do give him a little, like, play it up a little bit. Oh, who's he going to be?
For sure. For sure.
You know?
But that's what I'm just not going to sit up here and pretend like I understand that you got these 3 connections. You don't know who's who and all that weird shit. Like, I believe that you know. You know what I mean? And I believe that you like it. I think you like where you at, where you got these people pining over you and things. I think you like it.
I think most people do. I just think that they don't really have like a lot of incentive unless there's a deadline, a decision day, so to speak, for Married at First Sight people. They don't really have a lot of incentive to not. Now it's like, this week, explore this person.
It's weird because I want you to explore, right? But I also want you to be honest about the exploration process. The problem with Cam is that he's just exploring. We don't really have insight into how he's actually feeling about these things. So when you're watching it, it's just like, bro, what are you doing?
I think we got a little bit this week, though. Don't you think? Like, especially he had a little tiff with Angie, and he was like, that was a red flag for me. You know what I mean? And that was him being transparent about where he sees her. Like, I'm going to put her in this category. Like, you know what I mean? So I think we seeing a little bit more of that. And I think because there might be more pressure because we getting down to whatever their decision day is, that he's going to do more of that. Like, all right, I got to make a decision. I'm going to stop messing with Sahara or whatever.
Okay, let's get into this conversation that he has with Angie. So they're all sitting at the table and they're having a conversation about being toxic, okay? What is the difference between being toxic and being spicy, okay? Joe, what do you think the difference is between being toxic and being spicy?
I don't think it's a big difference. They tried to say, well, being spicy is sexy, like, and I think immaturity will tell you that toxicity is sexy. And I think that's kind of where they were, but they was trying to dress it up. Like, I think it's a little sexy if you spicy, but if you toxic, it's not sexy. Like, no. We're essentially talking about a crash out. You know what I mean? A bona fide professional crash out, which Angie kind of is. Which we already said.
Angie did not go ahead, because I'm not even prepared. I'm gonna have to.
I mean, she kind of is, and she kind of admitted it or whatever. But I think that essentially that was the discussion, and neither one is good to me.
So, okay.
Why do I need my women to be quote unquote spicy?
I don't even understand what that means. I think what they're trying to get at, and then y'all bust down. Hussein, somebody let me know if I'm interpreting this correctly. I don't think anybody wants to be with somebody they feel like they can walk all over. And I think there is some...
Well, that's different, though. That's another end of the spectrum.
You think?
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking, like, when they say spicy, I think that person is, like, has boundaries and is not afraid to be like...
No, that's not spicy to me. That's a mature human being who has boundaries.
Okay.
You see what I mean? Like, that's where the bar should be.
Okay.
to me, you talking about spicy as just somebody who bucking. You like that, but that's what I mean. They was trying to make it like, oh, that's sexy. Like, no, that's not sexy. Somebody just crashing out. They would call Huda. Some people will call Huda spicy. For those who
they do.
That's what I mean. That's not hot. To me, it's just a way for them to cloak toxicity for somebody who they like. People move the goalposts for people who they like. Privilege is definitely a thing.
That's
so
okay.
If I'm not really feeling them like that, it's spicy. It's sexy. Yeah, I like that. Oh, she crazy. She
don't ever
water.
do this voice
That's what
ever
they be
again.
doing. That's how they be doing. Oh yeah,
you're really
I like
cringing
she
me out.
threw water in my face. She busted windows.
I think you're right. I think. Oh, sorry, my ear. Ooh. Okay. There's something absolutely to what you're saying about how people pick and choose what's spicy and what's toxic based on, it's arbitrary based on whomever you're dealing with at the time. They may have a conversation about whether or not Angie whether or not she's toxic. Cam makes a point to say that he appreciates his peace and that's number one for him. Like he prioritizes that. And if it's anything outside of that, he sees that as like toxic and everything. And I could get with him on that. But the issue I had with the conversation is he asks Angie, had she ever bust somebody's window out? Angie said yes. Okay.
Which doesn't surprise me at all.
Haven't we all?
No. The answer is no, because everybody is in a professional crash out. Some people handle their disputes like adults, and that's what Cam was saying.
The problem is that men will get in your face and treat you like dog mess and then tell you to handle a situation like an adult. And they have gone about the situation like completely childish. They don't talk to you about anything. They don't pay attention to your boundaries. They do all these things. But you should leave this person. I completely agree. But also you can't do wrong to me and then tell me how to react to it.
Right. Which I don't think that's what Cam was trying to do though. I think what Cam was saying is, you shouldn't let somebody get you to the point where you doing stuff like that, Angie.
I think, let's be for real, Joe. Like, let's be all the way for real. In a perfect world, you're absolutely correct. When it comes to affairs of the heart, people get hurt. People get hurt beyond recognition. There's a lot of things that you would make me do that the average person wouldn't make me do because I'm so intertwined here. So if you're in love and you're in relationship with somebody and they hurt you to the hurt of the hurt, now you're going to dictate to me, I gotta be the bigger person.
As an adult, yes.
No, fuck that.
As an adult, yes. There's been plenty of things like you said. People can't get a reaction out of me who I feel lukewarm about. So it's only about one big person in the world that I'm sitting next to that could really even get a real reaction out of me, because if something happens, I would be hurt. As an adult in the world, a black male adult in the world with responsibilities and a child and other things of the matter, I have to check how I react to things. I might want to bust a window, crash out, do certain things. But as a mature adult in the world, I cannot do certain things. I have to control how I respond to things. Whether I'm been hurt or not is here nor there. It's how I'm responding to it. And I think that's what Cam was saying is, I don't think Cam was saying like, I expect not to have disputes with my person. He's just saying, I expect my person to handle the disputes as a respectable, responsible
But the
adult.
problem...
And Angie was like, no.
No, that's not what happened. Angie was speaking to what was going on in the moment. You asked me, had I ever done this thing? I told you yes. Never in the conversation does she say, I continue to do things like this. What she does say is, I'm in a place now where if you have a certain energy, I am returning the energy. And that's the only way you should be in relationship. You can't always
do that.
That's the only way.
If somebody busts your car, you can't go and bust their car. No. That's returning the energy.
But that's not what she meant. And we know that's not what she said.
How they took it. That's how Cam took
what she said is, what she meant, and I'm almost certain this is what she meant, Angie, if you're watching Bussin. Because what she meant was, if you want to be, because she clarified, if you want to be on some silly stuff, I'm going to be on some silly stuff. If you want to act away, I'm going to act away. If you want to pretend like we ain't together, I'm going to pretend like we ain't together. I'm not going to give, that's the platinum rule. I'm not going to give you much
childish.
more.
That's
not, it's not at all childish. It's not at all.
It is. And I think that's why Cam thought it was a red flag.
And it's childish to treat somebody how they treat you.
The tit for tat thing is childish. You do it, I'm gonna do it too. That's what kids do. That's literally what children do.
The problem is, but hear me out, and this is the problem with men, and I want y'all to take notes. I want y'all to take notes on this. A man won't lead you. A man, it is, because I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you why.
Mature adult thing.
If you are in a relationship with somebody and they treat you a certain way, it is not your responsibility to then go roll the red carpet out for you. And the faster you figure that out, the faster you'll meet somebody who is actually for you. Because what you're doing is creating boundaries.
Cam didn't say to roll the red carpet out. You're now having two different arguments that they weren't having. Cam didn't say you should let somebody walk all over you. He was never making a point that you should let somebody be diabolical to you and then just turn the other cheek. That was never his disposition.
She literally clarified and asked him, are you saying that you can hurt someone? Because he said, oh, you going to act like that, grow up. She said, so you're doing the hurting and then telling someone to grow up? You can't have both stances.
His grow up was speaking to how she was responding to whatever thing that the person did. So to say, grow up, you shouldn't be busting out somebody's window.
She never said that was a behavior that she continued. She said
every time we go through multiple episodes and multiple shows where people ask somebody, have you been cheating? Have you ever been a cheater? Everybody then in that same scenario projects that behavior as a future pattern.
And then what do we say?
Do that,
and what do we say?
What do you mean?
What do we say? When people do that, we say, yes, somebody could have cheated at that moment. That does not mean that they're going to get into this relationship and cheat on you. So don't we say that?
Listen to what I'm saying. Everybody in that conversation did the same thing. We see it. They do it all the time. You say you bust somebody's window out your car just the same way. Just the same way that last week, I think it was Kiara or somebody went, or it was Tay, say, oh, well, he said he was a cheater, so I don't want to be with him because that make me feel like he would cheat again. He took that as an indicator of future behavior, which is a red flag. If a man say I used to bust the windows out in the car every time I had an argument with my ex-girlfriend, any woman would be like, that's a red flag. You got anger issues, bro. Would that not be a realistic point of view for somebody to say, I don't want to be with no guy who's constantly breaking bottles and shit? That means you have an issue there, because the excuse can't be you made me upset, that's why I bust the window out your car.
So I think do I think you have a point? Yes, but we have to be honest when we say people don't act the same in every relationship. And at the point in which you asked me about my past doings, the conversation was what she had done previously. She explained her point of view. He did take it a certain way. And then they sat and had a conversation about it. And when she continued to say, like, you taking it from a perspective that it shouldn't be.
But you can't tell me that woman wouldn't be wrong for feeling like that's a red flag, bro. You telling me that every time you had an argument with your old lady, you used to break shit in the house. You can't tell me that you can't see her concern for that. For her to say that's a red flag is not a demerit on her.
And I don't think it's a demerit on Cam.
So why we gotta keep the same energy then? Because that's all I ever was saying. All I was saying was, for Cam to feel that was a red flag, he's not wrong in that.
I'm saying that I felt that the way the conversation went, I didn't love it, because that was an opportunity to learn way more about Angie than to just say, like, because I would want to know more.
And you wouldn't be wrong for wanting to know more, but we also wouldn't chastise for somebody for saying, nope, that's a boundary for me. I don't deal with people like that. You need to go.
You know what, though?
We just wouldn't do that.
That's a good point.
Right? I wouldn't be mad if Cam said, you know what, we can talk through this. But I also wouldn't be mad, because the same way if Cam was a woman and Angie was a man, and Angie said, you know what, I don't want to be with nobody like that because I don't handle my disputes like that. We wouldn't be like, look, no, that's bad. Keep the same. Like, we wouldn't do that.
I'm speaking about it from a space of being a young woman and evolving out of things and knowing that you don't show. Like, if somebody was to ask me, have I done those things? Yes, I've done those things. Is that where I am today? Absolutely not. I don't even have energy to expel on things like that.
But the way that you just communicated that, Angie did not communicate like that. She didn't. And I think had she, it would have been a different discussion.
Angie, I don't give a damn. Look at me, girl. Look at me in my eyes when I say this. I'm going to defend your right to be wrong, okay, sis? So I don't give a damn what him or Kim is talking about, all right? Because I felt where she was coming from. I didn't feel like, and this might be recovering, crash out, filling in the lines, all that BS, because I genuinely felt like...
You are filling in the lines because you're saying things that she didn't say.
Well, I think that's what she mean.
That's a leap. Like...
I got your back. I really do. But I'm glad that they ended up having a conversation outside of that. I did think that it was appropriate, but I also, to Angie's point, I don't know. Kim, you know what it is? Because Kim is not my cup of tea, I can't understand why 3 women would be interested.
But honestly, I think similar to Cam's disposition, the 3 women also are in a similar place where it's not like they have a lot of hot
good
other options.
I agree.
So I think they're vying for one of the only options that they feel like they have in the house as a part of the production.
Yeah.
They gotta link up or get out. And I think a lot of it is a little bit of survivor game being played here,
For sure.
like Big Brother type. Like, I got to get a bed in the house or I'm leaving, and Kim is my only option. I really don't think it's that. Well, all due respect to Kim, it's just because everybody think Kim is Idris Elba or some shit like that. I don't think that's what it is. I just think, who else is Rose dating? Who else? Like,
well,
she's
dating Hussein. That was a good segue, babe. Rose and Hussein are getting kind of close. And I do kind of like the way it's unfolding. They share a room together, which I thought was cute. I love the conversation that they're having. It does feel like the more they kind of get into each other and getting to know each other, they're pushing people like Angie and Cam out of the frame, which I kind of am not mad at. Like, I can kind of see Rose and Hussein.
We just need to start whittling these connections down to the serious ones.
Yeah, because I'm bored.
So I'm like...
I'm not bored, but I'm bored.
It's no diss to, like, when I talk about stuff like saying, like, I'm surprised Deanna's... There's no diss to Deanna. She just don't really have no connection. So I just be feeling like, why is she still here?
She's only here because she a baddie. And we got to really call it what it is. And I mean a baddie to production.
Yeah.
Them men don't like her.
Yeah.
And I don't think Khalil trying to make fetch happen. I think Khalil like Tay. I think that I think what we burying the lead on is one of the women on the cast got to let me know what's up with Khalil. To me, he seemingly feels like more of the catch than some of these. Like, he's so well rounded in his brain, his thoughts, how he thinks, how he dates, who he wants to invite in his life. Just hearing how he spoke to Tay and Deanna on the date about, no, I want somebody who clingy, I want this and that. Now to having a conversation with Deanna about, like, where could a man show up for you? What's wrong with him that y'all not feeling him?
I just think they don't have a lot of deep connections. Like, I don't think it's nothing, like, I don't think it's a demerit on any of the cats that are still left. Mm-hmm. I just think that the connections are just really not there. Outside of Francisco and Tay, like, nobody really is clicking like that. If we just being honest, there are people who are talking and trying to, I mean, at this point, how are you still trying to figure out whether or not it's something there? I don't understand.
Because you on the show and you want to stay on the show.
That's exactly what I mean.
And it's getting, the truth is, I think Kiara and Jay got a real connection as well.
They got something.
They definitely got something, because the way she was pissed,
like,
baby, now that was very much a pink flag.
Yeah.
Because she was airing him out, and I almost felt bad for him, even though I thought he was dead ass wrong. But I did almost feel bad for him.
He was wrong. It just escalated quickly.
Yes.
Like, I want to be clear. I don't think Jay was right in his interaction. I think he went a little overboard. But at the same time, I just thought it was too much. I just thought the whole Kiara part was too much.
But you want to hear something else? I really do want women to go out in the world and date and do their thing. But when Sahara was bent over in front of Jay and doing all that extra stuff, that to me was a red flag.
100%. But Sahara been a red flag since week 1. I'm super surprised she's still here. I can't believe it.
Yeah. But Kim, it's 3 different people. And what I also think is burying the lead, and this is what I was thinking about earlier, Kiara also is kind of, I think she might be I think Sahara's a pretty girl, but I do think she might be a bit like, you couldn't possibly like me and like her.
But I don't like when people do, I don't get that.
I do think women do that.
A lot, and it annoys me. Like,
Why?
what do this got to do with you? Like, why somebody either being more open to different, you know what I mean, nationalities or economic standings or different backgrounds or whatever. Like, your self-esteem can't be so bad that you are severely hurt or bothered by somebody liking somebody who's different from you. I think it's the weirdest thing. And it's come up on multiple shows. And I'm like,
because I think it's more common.
Yourself.
I think it's more common than we're letting on. I think that it's a thing. I think you see yourself and you want to believe that like you're the standard. So like anybody else, this person's date is either going to be a reflection of you or something like that. I think that's the thing. I don't think that's I feel what you're saying, but I do think it's more common than people let on.
But it's sad. Like,
sad.
It's sad because to me, your self-esteem should not depend on what somebody, what somebody's other type is or how somebody chooses to date outside, completely separate and disconnected from you.
Yeah, I'm with you there. How did you feel about Deanna's answer to Khalil about what a man could do for her? Like, he asked a very pointed question. Like, when you come home, what could a man do at home for you that would make you feel like, you know what I mean? And she was like, brush up on these chipped paints and take the garbage out. How did you feel about that?
I just felt like she don't have an answer, and I think it speaks to why she's single. Like, I think a lot of these guys feel like she want to be the man and the woman. And I think it's causing a disconnect in her dating and them courting her.
Yeah.
Because if a man want to be with a man, he would just be on that side of the fence. And I think she even said it like, well, people say that I'm like too masculine. I don't understand how. Like, you got to look in the mirror because obviously it's a common thing because she referenced it like it happened before the show. You know what I mean? So to me, it's just one of those things of looking in the mirror and just figuring out how to like the whole like I'm a strong black woman, like that is great. But we have to figure out how to finesse that in dating because you're not going to win any awards dating these men and letting these men know how you don't need them. Because then they just feel like I don't have a place. Where do I fit in your life?
Yeah, I think it's where do I fit in your life? And also like, what is the big deal? What is it that you holding on to so hard that like when you have a partner, you can't let it go? That's what I don't get. And I believe in like making sure you covered and you ain't going to be left out there in the cold and it ain't no Risa Tisa type shit. I get it. You know what I mean? But I also feel like, I don't know. I am the ultimate, you have to take care of me or else how do I know you even like me? Like,
and you have to open the door for that. I think these guys are asking these questions, and I'm sure it's not the first time she was asked a question like this, to see if there's even a space for me to come into your life and be a man. And a lot of times,
or a partner of any kind.
Right. And a lot of times, if it doesn't appear that way, it's a turnoff. And people will be on to the next. Like, all right, you got it. You don't need nobody to take out the trash and do anything.
And I think not to be defending men in any way, but I do think men want to be desired too, and men want to feel
that's
like
not a defense. That's a fact.
That's a fact, right? Fact. You know what I mean?
People want to be desired, and it should be understandable on both sides to understand that no matter what your role is, you want to feel like your partner wants you and wants you to be there and needs you. People want to feel needed. You know what I mean? That's not a man-woman thing. That's a human thing.
I actually really enjoyed this episode of Ready to Love. I felt like as much as we kind of like was talking about and having discourse about everything that they kind of chatted about on this episode, I felt like we got a little bit more insight into things. And Khalil need to go. And not because Khalil isn't a catch, but Tay obviously want to be with somebody who don't have no place to live and no car, so you might as well.
Like that.
We gotta be real. I was watching something. Oh my God, what was it? I cannot remember, but this woman said something so real. Like, at the point in which you don't have these things, just basic things to take care of yourself, why do you think you should be dating? Like, why is dating even on the? But then men will get in relationship. This is the funny thing to me. y'all will have nothing and want to date. But then when you trying to build something or something like that, or you working on something, or you moving and shaking, you also don't want to date.
Everybody wants companionship.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Whether you big, broke, ashy, white, black, short, tall. I think everybody wants companionship no matter what phase of life they're in. I don't think that's going to change. You know what I mean? And so I think this was also, to me, just like an opportunity, it seems, you know what I mean? Because even when they was talking about it, when they had their little heart-to-heart with Naeem earlier in the season, he put it to him like, this is also an opportunity for you, you know what I mean, to kind of, it might be for you to acquire two different things, you know what I mean? Maybe this will set you on a path that'll help your financial standing, and you get a woman out of it. Who knows?
Naeem was only focused on the financial standing. Don't get it jacked up. Naeem was like, bro, you could flip this and make it something. And he's right. You know what I mean? He's absolutely correct.
Yeah, but you also might get a woman out of it. Like he was in alluding today, he was right too. Like you never know. You never know what can happen on these
And the thing about it is, I really like Francisco. I think
I do too.
He gives very genuine energy, and he ain't got shit to lose, so he might as well just be his goddamn self.
Yeah.
And I kind of love that. You know what I mean? But I do think that because the episode opens up with a preview from the previous episode where he was like, and she wanted me to have a car, and I'm sitting there like, bro, you had to know that a grown woman would want you to have.
I don't know if I interpreted that wrong, but I was like,
like, what's up?
Was that not the bar?
So the point I'm trying to make is Tay and Francisco look like there is no Khalil. And Khalil, you gotta probably understand that. The men sit down and they chat about the women. Cam said he tired of all these hoes. Stop asking me about them. Okay.
Like, they all can go.
They all get on my nerves right now. Whoop de whoop de whoop. All right. And they also speak about Deanna. And like I said, I don't think this was not the show for Deanna. I think Deanna would have probably done better on Love is Blind.
Honestly, I think some people need to focus on the blockages that are really causing the dilemmas in their dating life. Sometimes you got to really sit down and take inventory. And I think Deanna might be one of those people. I don't think she's that necessarily in a position to really just be out here dating in the streets yet. You know what I mean? Because I just think it's a lot that she would need to kind of talk through and work through, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because she don't give me, I can't even imagine her liking anyone.
And I was just
I mean, a friend or foe, man or woman, I can't even.
I was just about to say that.
And not to say that you got to be all open and kiki and Joe with everybody, but like, I do feel like I don't see you enjoy anybody's company.
I agree. And I think that's just, that's something that's happening internally. If everybody's crazy, you're the one that's insane type thing. Like it can't be all the entire dating pool. When people say, "Oh, ain't no good blah 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 out there," no, it's you. It's 6 billion people in the world. It's you.
Well, I'm saying all that to say, Khalil was my favorite this episode. I don't know, something about him. He was like, talk about a slow burn. I feel like he just came out of nowhere, and I'm like, who is this guy? And why is nobody wanting to date him? Because I feel like he's a catch. Like I feel like everybody in their own regard, don't get me wrong, is like a catch. But I feel like something is about Khalil that I feel like, why are we exploring him more?
I just think the matches aren't here, man. Because I think that even though Kiara has her stuff going on with her, I think she could be a catch. I think Rose could be a catch. You know what I mean? I think Naeem with all his kids could be a catch for somebody. You know what I mean? I think Cam could obviously be. Hell, I think Fitz and Eddie could also be catches for somebody. I just think that this wasn't the batch that was going to really like it wasn't going to be a lot of matches made from this batch of people. And I think they all genuinely like each other. I know they be hanging out and stuff. Like, you know what I mean? You know, we be talking to the streets and the peoples. And I think they genuinely like each other. You know what I mean? I think they're friends. I don't think that there's going to be a lot of love coming out from this season. Just genuine, like, love connections. I just don't see it.
I think I have to agree. Hussein says about Angie, they talk about Angie and he says that spice may be too much, like a weekend thing, and then move on. And why did that bother me?
Because that's not the first time that somebody has said that about her. Because we think she's great.
I think wonderful.
But I think that is the perception. I think that if we polled many of her past situations, they would probably say the same thing. She gives that. Along with a lot of light energy and great vibes, and I think everybody wants to hang out with her, and I think they also feel that way.
It's funny because I feel like she's on the exact opposite of the spectrum from Deanna.
What you mean?
I can tell when Angie is into someone, and even when it's women, and her being attracted, and I love that about her. And I feel, unfortunately, like, you know, sometimes too much of anything will give you a cavity, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And I think it might be one of those things. I didn't love that Hussein said, like, you know, the spice might be cool for a weekend thing. Like, I'm trying to figure out what is she not. Because when you
are mature, that's what we were saying about that's what I was saying about the Cam thing. When I was a child, I thought as a child, and as an adult, I think as an adult, and I'm moving as an adult. That shit was cute when I was a child. Oh, she doing all that. She want to cuss. Zar used to cry when I would leave. She would literally cry.
Separation anxiety, though.
But that's it. We married. We got a kid. It's a whole thing. It's different. It's very different. Cry. It's very different now. You know what I mean? Especially when you factor in, you know, baby and hormones and things like that. But when we was younger, I'm talking about when we was kids, you know what I mean? And I used to think it was the hottest shit ever. Like, yeah, my bitch she go crazy about me. Like, she'll crash the fuck out. She rolls on the floor if I gotta leave the house. You know what I mean? Right? But then as an adult, I dated somebody like in my college years that was like that, and it was the worst thing ever. I'm like, I have to get away from this woman. This woman is crazy. But that's because I was mature then.
Right.
So I was like, this is not, what the fuck? What are we doing? You know what I mean? That's what Hussein means. And that's why I said that Angie got a little bit of toxic that she got to work on, because she is awesome. She's great.
I think she's great.
Think these things like this is what keeps a serious relationship away from her, because a certain type of serious man is going to be like, no, that's not cute. Like, you don't have to, we can talk about this. You remember when we was watching the one show and the boy said, we're going to talk to listen and hear. We're not going to talk over each other.
That was Ace. On Love Island.
Great, because he's great. That makes sense. You know what I mean?
God.
But at a certain point, that's what you get. Like, you don't even, you see an argument coming and you're like, I want to talk this argument away before we even had this conversation. Because that's what Ace did. He was like, I know you want to argue. I'm an adult. I don't want to argue. I want to listen to you. You get what I mean?
Yes. And the thing is, I think the reason why it kind of took me back, because when I think about Angie, her, Deanna, who was the other woman that was dating Fritz that we liked? Shanice, even Tay, to me, are a different caliber of women. And this is not a dig on the other women. So when I say this, but when I see them, I know based on like my own connections and who I know and whatever, I could get them with a baller immediately. You know what I mean? Like, so when I see them, I'm kind of like, how are we even vying? Like, what is this? They don't have that on them, though. Like Tay and Shanice, like, they don't have that on them. Hussein wouldn't say the same thing about them as far as like, that's what I mean. You know what I mean? Okay.
Like, I think they don't, and I think that's kind of what I'm saying. Like, I would want to see her get to that place where it's like, because also people will play in your face if they feel like they're allowed to. And I feel like that comes from the energy that you give off and the vibe that you give off, especially if I feel like, I'm going to put you in that lane, and then, like he said, it's going to be a weekend thing. You're going to do what you're going to do, and I'm out of here. I think the psychology of a lot of this, though, specifically when it comes to Angie, is that she has so much going on in her life. She really said something in the last episode where, like, her phone don't stop ringing. Like, people come to her for just about everything. And I think that that's why she is as light and airy and kind to people in the world, where it could be maybe misconstrued as something else. Mm-hmm. I think that that's because everything in her life is so wildly serious that, like, at least the part that she can control should be, you know what I mean? Yes, I do.
Different.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you don't know that about her, you could take it as a different kind of energy. Because I'm seeing it as like, oh, of course she acts like this. Not act like it like she's acting anything bad, because I don't think she is. But of course she's as light and open and everything like that. She is going through so much in the background.
The problem is you don't know anybody who you're just getting to know.
Right.
So none of these men, everybody's going to have that impression because they don't know her, right? And that's the issue. You have to find a way, because it's difficult because life is going to life, and it is just the world that we live in. Everything that should be is not all that is, you know what I mean? And so it would be great if everybody off the rip just had this certain amount of understanding, right?
Yeah.
But that's not how the world spins, right? So all of these men, the future guys that she meet, they will not understand this, especially just going out with her on a one date, right?
Yeah.
So there's something that can be done. I think there's a place that you can get to where you can kind of navigate it a little better. But unfortunately, that's going to be the story because they're not going to know her.
Yeah, so we're kind of left on a cliffhanger. It's obviously between Deanna and Angie who should be going home. Bust down and let us know who you guys think should be going home. Joe, what are your predictions?
I love Angie, but she got to go. She need to go home. You know what I mean? I think she got some work to do. I think, and even separating aside from the stuff that we talked about this episode and the last episode, I remember early on when I think she was talking to Eddie, and Eddie was like, yeah, I don't really love like you having a whole bunch of like guy friends. And she was like, they're not going nowhere. That's like, you're not ready. You know what I mean? Like, cause that's stuff that you got to be open to your partner and respecting their boundaries. And to me, that's a maturity thing. You know what I mean? And I mean dating immaturity. Like, you know what I mean? That's what I was speaking to with the Cam situation, like responding to certain things in a mature way. Like Cam doesn't seem to me that he gives rah-rah energy. So I'm not surprised.
No, he doesn't give me that.
I'm not surprised that he don't want to be with a rah-rah woman.
Yeah.
Most guys I know who aren't rah-rah don't want to be with somebody who's like,
and even if they are,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it's just a lot of that going on. You know what I mean?
I think we have to free Deanna. Free Deanna until we can't yell free Deanna no more because Deanna is locked up and we're obviously holding her against her will.
It's a fact, not an opinion. Like
she does not want to be here. Like, she's literally, and I don't even think she's here for the vibes. I mean, she's here.
Really not here.
She's
for the
here
vibes,
so she don't get fined. Yeah, literally. Like I think it's more that. Like she's not here for the vibes. Like nothing about her. But it could be nervousness. It could be a lot of things.
I don't think.
But her personality is not shining here.
Yeah, and I just don't think she don't got nobody who she really like here.
Yeah, I think once they got rid of Eddie, that was kind of like it for her.
Yeah, she don't got nobody. She just over here like, okay, we here, we doing it again. I'm here.
Yep. So I don't get fine. So we did it. Thank y'all so much for joining us again. I'm your girl, Interstar Eleanor. Bust down and let us know what you thinking. I'm again joined by my beautiful husband, Joseph Conner. Okay. We appreciate y'all coming on over to the Conner's Couch. Make sure you subscribe, like, comment, and tell us what you're thinking about this episode of Ready to Love Season 10. And we'll see you beautiful mother jumpers later. Bye.